quick review on the ohms checker. I actually got one of these finally. It is very puny, so it is incredibly small, smaller than I thought it would be. They do range from $18 to $25. Does fit a 2 AA batteries in the back. This one actually, the glue or the silicone or whatever in the middle of here was getting in the way of the battery, so I had to X-Acto knife that off a little bit. How it reads, okay, it reads a little bit higher ohms than my multimeter does. My multimeter is incredibly accurate. It's 10-fold more expensive as well, but the reason why I got this was that when I build my coils, I could build it on here much easier. It is actually very handy. It's a very good $20 investment. For you guys that don't have multimeters, it is definitely something that is a must for you guys, especially for your RDA builders. So the reading is 2.9 on this. It does read pretty accurate, down to 2 decimal points, which is pretty good. Let's go ahead and check out this trident on here. Screw it on, and I turn it on. Okay, it sees a 1.04. You'll see that, and you'll see constantly how it's going to come out. So my thoughts on this multimeter, if you can afford one, just go get it. If you think that $20 is a lot to pay for an ohms checker, it kind of is. You can get a cheap multimeter for like $5 to $10. You can probably pick it up for like $2 to $3 on a swap meet. And a multimeter will check your ohms for you. But if you do kind of just check ohms and not really use the multimeter for any other reason, I use it for voltage and checking voltage drop. So for me, I never really got around to getting one of these until now. It is the size of a pager back in the days when you guys knew what pagers were, or what I used to call it, a BP. You know, I haven't called it a BP. It is pretty much the identical size. It is freaking puny. So that is that. How it functions fine. It does read a little bit higher ohms than what it does on my multimeter, but that's not a big problem because it's so minute. It's probably because there's wires in here that create a little bit of more resistance, which is perfectly fine. It's not a big problem. When you do turn it on with nothing on there, it does give you these 3 minus signals. So far, so good, you know. So from now on, whatever ohms that I tell you, it will be calculated with this thing. I just think that's a better idea. Because my ohms keep changing when I say this is a this ohm code, that is a that ohm code. The reason why it's changing is how I'm testing it. It varies on what I test it with. The only other interesting thing is my Nimbus. Oh, yeah, I have here. It reads 0.9 in pretty much all my other devices, like my Vamo and everything else. But on this little ohms checker, how interesting is this? It's reading 0.74. So this is the only one with my hotspot coil is reading lower than what everything else is reading, except for my multimeter. My multimeter reads this at about 0.6, 0.7. So it is actually, this is actually more accurate in my opinion than those MVPs or Vamos or those devices like the DevCode devices. And the ohms on this is decently accurate for what it is. It's supposed to be up to like 0.1% plus or minus accuracy, which is freaking accurate. How sure am I to that accuracy? Probably not sure, but it will serve you fine. What I read as 0.28 ohms on the other coil, I'm reading as 3.04 ohms on this. So again, a little bit higher, but it's for what it is for you know, what you're using it for. That's fine. I'm going to use it as a platform, so this is always going to be out, I guess, for me to use. Alright, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoy my videos.